Hey, welcome in, folks. It's Babbaginator. We are back in the long dark. And thank you, EG, for your massive amount of things to do. So, okay, stretch. Ba ba. There we go. Babble block. And hydrate. We just pulled in our nice big water bottle. So, stay thirsty, my friends. And pros before wolves and an annoyed cat. So hopefully your annoyed cat played. If not, there we go. Okay, so let's figure out what we're going to read then. I was thinking, what is something that I have written about that I have not? Shared before. Let's see here. Okay, got a couple ideas. You want something creative or something academic or something else? Or do you want a surprise? Oh, we haven't even started the long dark yet. Okay. If you made me read the whole thing on one stream, I think I'd lose so many viewers. I don't see anyone wanting to sit through that. I don't think I would want to sit through that. Because then it'll become apparent which chapter has this big loop that I go on. I end up circling back on myself because I was very tired when I wrote it. Okay, so let's see here. Back to what to read. It's been a while since I've read from there. Oh, maybe I'll read that. This is prose, but not nonfiction. It leaves the door open for something else. Yeah, maybe I'll do. This is from short story I wrote. This is one of the first short stories I ever wrote in university for my first fiction class for the MFA in creative writing. So this is short story. This is fiction, and it's not terribly long. Be able to read the whole thing actually. And I will say it has its problems, but I don't know. It's a weird piece. Levitation. There's always a moment before falling. I guess we should put on the big screen here. There's always a moment before falling, somewhere between rise and descent, when a body hovers weightless, forgetting. For an instant, it's a satellite in orbit, or simply itself cut free from the world, without a knowable up or down. You could be anywhere. It's Friday, early evening, the sun is setting, and I'm resting on a bench in the park. I can see a young boy on the swings. He's pumping his legs, building a regular rhythm. His body moves with almost a mechanical precision. Higher, he must be thinking, higher. Next time I'll go just a little bit higher. With every lunge forward and upward, the sky must seem a little closer. With every fall, the ground looms before him, ever more dangerous. The boy is still rising. His legs reach out from the swing, touch the lowest branches of the trees. For a moment, it's as if he's walking vertically. Now his body stretches out like a line, the chains of the swing running almost parallel to the top bar which anchors them. He pulls in again, falls back, descends. Any higher, the swing will fail, or the boy will be catapulted out into the darkness of the trees. Perhaps he is contemplating this himself. Perhaps he's wondering what will happen if he lets go. I'm certain I must have. I must have felt something this close to terror and release. To be honest, I don't remember much from that age. There's only a sense of resonance that I sometimes feel when I come to these quiet places tucked away in the city, like the top of the parking tower I used to work at years ago. No one parks on the roof, but the view from there is incredible. Even with a push broom in one hand and a spray bottle of Union Carbide cleaner in the other, there's something magical about the city. Like how distant the streets seem when you lean out over the edge. How the dawn breaks, prism-like, through the mirror and glass skyscrapers downtown. Or how, on the edge of the lower levels, the oil stains from so many cars can run together to form some gigantic thumbprint or an indecipherable map of an alien world. I remember few things from the parking tower days, but some things stick with you. Memories of Pete, for instance, the fat tree guy who played electric guitar in a country and western band. He hated it. Like all Indians, he would say with a grin, he had his reservations. I think he found some sort of strange irony in getting paid good money to perform for bankrupt farmers and washed-out cowboys. He was smart, loved heavy metal, and didn't line his pockets from the till. Pete drove me home once when my car was in the shop. He drove a whale of a car, one of those continent-sized steel-frame monsters from the 70s. It was rusted, had survived 4 accidents, and needed 2 wooden planks in the trunk to keep things from falling through. I remember watching him start the car with a screwdriver pulled from the glove compartment, which he returned once the engine turned over, and we were going. We drove out of the downtown core, heading for the far side of the city where we both lived. I kept thinking how the city seemed to be growing in the opposite direction, always away from the places I called home. The houses grew smaller and dirtier as we went, interspersed with the occasional brilliantly white one, which some rich person had bought and resurrected to rent out at a ridiculous rate. Whenever we passed several of these in a row, I thought of my grandfather's false teeth gleaming on the edge of the sink back home. Even though he'd been dead for years, no one had the heart to throw them away. The houses might have been porcelain as well, for all we cared. We were heading home, wherever that was. It was June, and the sun seemed to hang in the sky forever. Pete once told me he had been to Sundance a few times when he was younger. I had asked him if he had remembered anything of the experience. I think I was expecting something religious, perhaps something profound about how the center pole is the center of the universe, or that the rope that ties each man to the pole through the bone splinter they had pierced to their chest muscles was the umbilical cord, the thing that tied all living things together. He didn't say any of that. He said instead that it was like a very long guitar wail, like a solo you play until your whole body aches. Glass shatters, he said, if you play the right note. So do people. No one joins you at the end. You just collapse and tear free. But it doesn't matter. You've been dancing so long. You're already gone. I remember the day he disappeared. It was Thursday, late summer. The concrete towers we patrolled were half empty or half full. It depended who you asked. It was the time of year when heat was beginning to let go of the city. Leaves were turning, the oil stains growing darker and setting in firm patterns. I recall watching the shadow of pillars inch across his usual parking spot. All morning we waited for him to turn up, drunk or high, or more likely with guitar in hand, complaining about another cowboy wedding gig he'd had to do. He never did. We tried calling his place several times, but never got an answer. His landlord said he'd simply left without a word, just packed his things one night, disappeared. When we opened his work locker, his posters were still there. We found a stack of guitar picks and an unopened box of chocolate-covered macadamia nuts. His jacket was still hanging over his usual chair as if he'd simply stepped out for a smoke. The following week, our manager came in one morning and found an envelope with Pete's keys and a note. All it said was, "Sorry for the trouble. Bye, Pete." After a while, we all got used to his absence, and suddenly as it was, his name would come up from time to time, but eventually even that faded. By spring, the slick, dark ice on the tower roof finally melted, and there was nothing left. I remember the first night I spent in my new apartment away from home. I owned practically nothing when I moved in, other than the third-hand mattress that lay on the floor. The sum total of my worldly possessions were housed in 6 boxes and a suitcase. The walls were an off-white. Somewhere beneath all the layers of paint, there was still evidence of the last tenant. When I ran the sink in the bathroom, the steam from the hot water made the walls sweat nicotine. It stank. It was cheap, but it was mine. In the living room, I hung a tattered blue kite on the wall, a relic from my father's days on the West Coast, where the winds would blow hard in the late summer. I recall the sight of it rising above the beach, above the fir trees. The line which tethered it to my father's hands was almost invisible in the half-light of dusk. I no longer have the line for the kite. I never learned to fly it. But remember the way it would pull heavenward into the cloudless blue, how it would circle, twisting in the breeze, falling and rising again. But where I stood, he always seemed to be gesturing, almost as if he was calling a stray dog home or a scared cat from a tree. Sometimes it was magic, some secret spell that only he knew that would waken the creature in the sky and send it running out to sea, then returning exhausted to his hand. It could be fierce, too. When the winds were strong, it could seem like the kite itself would burst with yearning. The line would invariably break, and we'd go chasing after it, hoping it would not land in the deep or catch in the tall trees out of our reach. My father once told me the kite was invented as an instrument of war by the Chinese. There's even a legend from the warring period between the Han and Chu states that when General Han Xin surrounded the Chu forces, he had a giant wooden kite built to carry the warrior Zhang Liang above the enemy's ranks. And that when Zhang Liang flew above their heads, he sang all the songs of the Chu homeland until their soldiers were so homesick they lost heart, laid down their weapons, and would not fight. Sometimes, when the wind hits the kite just right, you can still hear Zhang Liang's voice. I remember the afternoon of my father's burial, when I stood by the graveside surrounded by strangers. A rectangular hole was carved precisely into the earth. The casket rested at its side, waiting to be lowered down. The earth was firm beneath my feet. Above me, there was only blue. In the distance, I could barely make out the faint contrails left by passing jets, already gone from view. We stood as a single anomaly in an otherwise perfect day, like a small dark cloud hovering over this green and empty space. When the preacher was done and the hole was filled, the crowd gradually dispersed, each to their own homes. I remained behind, watching the sun sinking behind a wall of trees, the shadows moving across the stones set in the earth. Sometimes light moves so quickly, sometimes it's excruciatingly slow, but the way it catches on the edges of stone-cut letters can be beautiful in its silence. Shadow and line, darkness, they say, has its own music. I remember resting my ear against the ground, listening. I watched a documentary once on Tibetan monks. They said levitation was hard work. It's all about negating the self. You have to empty yourself completely to become weightless. Detach yourself from the world of appetites and desires, they say. Remove your consciousness. When you have nothing, want nothing, and sense nothing, you are truly free, they say. In the end, even gravity is a desire. It's a yearning for something to hold. Tonight I'm sinking into the depths of a hot bath. Already the boy on the swing is fading. There's no more up. There's no more down. My ears slip beneath the water's surface. The world sounds differently here. I can hear my own pulse, my heartbeat slowing down. I close my eyes and drift a little further back till only my nose and mouth are still clear. In my dreams, I'm swimming in a neighbor's pool. The water is cool. The moon is full and reflects clearly in the small waves at the deep end. I'm moving forward and down, deeper. I'm always thinking deeper. I'm swimming for the moon, reaching and running out of breath. My arms get tired. I begin to sink. Above me, the dark sky spreads out like an old tarp heavy with stars. I lie on the bottom watching, drifting, almost gone. In the silent world above, I see a figure move like a cloud or a shadowy kite. Wordless, its arms reach out, calling me home. So, yeah, that was the first short story I'd written for my MFA. And you can hear sections of this that I later stole and turned into poems. Like the part about the kite, that became part of one poem. I try to think of what other little bits. The guy disappearing, Pete disappearing, is based on a different coworker I had when I was working in the programming world. And so that story about Dan, or D, shows up in Babbage's dream. But I kind of conflated him with Pete, who was a guy I worked with when I was working in high school at this parking tower. And he really was this fat, really large First Nations guy that played electric guitar in country and western bands. I just shook my head. He said, "Yeah, I know, but they pay well." So it's like, it's a gig. Yeah, he never disappeared, but Dan, my coworker, did. Trying to think what else is in here. So, like, I really don't know what to do with this at this point, because there are sections where the language has clearly been repurposed and used in poems and has been published. I can't keep those sections the same. I would have to rewrite them significantly. So rethink sections of this if I wanted to publish this as a short story. So in its current form, it's not really publishable, even though I like it. It also is a story that really revolves around a voice and an idea, and less so about an actual continuous narrative. Like, there's no beginning, middle, end to this. And even though, like in contemporary short fiction, we don't really have to have like the very traditional beginning, middle, end, there still should be like a place that you start, something that happens in the middle, and then something at the end. And instead, this is just moving like free association between these different, like, we start maybe, I would say, in the park watching the kid on the swing. That's a beginning, right? And the end is in the bathtub at the end of the day, but then it shifts into like a memory of like almost drowning in a pool, right? So, yeah. Anyways, you asked for a surprise, you got a surprise. Something really different than usual. Oh, it's so windy out there. It really doesn't want us to leave. But I was thinking about wanting to... I want to put together a set of short stories. I think maybe it's time to really like do some fiction work again. I wrote
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
The one story called Listen, which I think I've shared parts of on the stream before. At Christmas time, like at the end of December, for one of my classes, and I've done some minor tweaks on it, and I think I want to send it out. I want it to get published somewhere. But I also feel like I want to send it out with a couple other pieces. So I'll need to write some new stuff, or I have to edit stuff that I have and turn it into something that is workable. Just write a novel. Have I read anything from my Herald series? I have a series of like microfiction. Let's see. They're all like these short paragraph, 2-paragraph things, and the main character, Harold, is a hitman who works in a city in the middle of nowhere, like in the Canadian prairies. You know, it's not really mentioned whether it's Regina or Winnipeg, but it's someplace like that. It's not like a really glamorous place to be a hitman. And he actually was an artist. He wanted to be an artist and failed at that, and so ended up becoming a hitman. And he's surprisingly good. You know, it's one of those. The stories are not really about the hits. The stories are about sort of the mundanity of the job, like all the stuff around the job, and the coworkers, and the problems of incompetence, right? And little things that just become annoying. So it's like office work, but it's about a hitman having to deal with it. No one wants to read that. It's a story about a full-time writer or full-time streamer and the struggle to choose. Like, no one wants to read that. Can't be serious. No one wants to read that. Oh, cabin fever risk. Okay. Anything we can repair that's nice. This is good. This is fine. This can be torn up. I do have a novel I do want to write that is about Charles Babbage. And that is definitely still on the back burner.
This pack is getting too heavy to
Oh,
carry.
we're fully rested. We just don't have, we have one means to, well, we have two means to start a fire. We have maglins, which we can't use right now. And we have a flare, so... Are we up Hat Creek? We are not at Hat Creek. We are Bear Creek, just north of the Bear campgrounds, which we're not going to return to because we know that the bear is probably passing
God,
through.
I need anything right about now.
We are really heavy. Why are we so heavy? So tonight my roommate gets back from their conference. I was thinking they were getting back until Saturday, but it turns out it's today. So, yeah. We're just here for the cattails, honestly. That's all we're here for. And to get to a bed in the trailer. And then decide what we're doing after that. I can't remember if we checked the lookout tower for a bedroll or not. But yeah, anyways. Their flight was delayed for an hour. So I think they might get back after midnight. And there's a chance that they... I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to figure out their ride situation, but I do know the train will probably have stopped running by the time they get off the flight, so... Oh, I may have to do like a late night run to go pick them up from the airport. But they might just get a Uber. Or maybe some of their classmates, some of their lab mates might. Their lab mates all are closer to campus, so I don't know if anyone's going to do the detour. She might have to do the lab, take the Uber back. I cleaned the apartment. It was nice. They took out the recycling, mopped the floors, did my laundry already so that they can do their laundry when they get back. All the good roommate stuff, right? When am I going to do a carpentry run? I really should. I have not played at all with the with that functionality, like the base building stuff. I haven't done it at all. Not deliberately. It's just like I've not made the trips to the right places to get the whatchamacallit, the tool set for doing it. Can you fix the roof in Mountaineers? I didn't know you could do that. Kind of like having the skylight. Wow. 20-seater. Wow. Too much work. Well, I guess you could just take your axe out and start cutting up logs and then chopping up logs, and you get plenty. Oh, you know what we should be doing? Look at us. We should be doing this. Yeah, check this out. I just noticed the sun was out. Let's get our fire going. Oh, I don't know why we dumped so many in there. Beard, welcome in. Welcome in. Should give you a shout out here. One day you'll be back to streaming. Okay, what can we cook? Just herbal tea. slow chain. Oh, it's already done. It's fine.
My stomach feels like an empty pit.
Guess we need a little bit more.
Feels like night is coming.
Yeah, I know. Technically, my weekend is already started, in a way. That is to say that I ended up already hitting my work hours for the week today. So I'm like, well, I can't technically bill any more hours for the week, so I may do a little off the book hours tomorrow, just so I can make some progress on one thing that I was supposed to take care of earlier this week but didn't get done. And I may want to at least test it out to see if I can get it working. But yeah, so I'm kind of done. I have one 9:30 meeting with a professor. Oh, that's not fun. With the professor, just sort of a status update on work that we're doing, research project, which once again I spent most of the week not working on the research, so I will have to probably stay up tonight after the stream to do a little bit more work, and then get up early tomorrow morning and do more work. But since I'm done with my work hours, then I really just can do the research tomorrow morning. Yeah. Yeah, my Friday night D&D game has moved to Wednesday nights because it's summer, and one of our players apparently has a new girlfriend who wants to spend time with him on Friday nights. So it was like, yeah. But it's like, yeah, I guess making that a priority is a normal thing. So that means I'll have my Friday nights open, which in theory means I could pursue some sort of social life as well. Social life, overrated. I don't know, we'll see. Or I might just start another online D&D campaign. Or I might see if there's something I could stream on Friday nights that's different from TLD, you know. Like maybe I do a talk show. Maybe I do D&D improv. I don't know. You guys are my social life. You are. You're part of my circle of friends, my parasocial. What do you call it? Parasocial? Where you like assume it feels like it's a deeper friendship, even though you've never actually met. You just kind of imagine that it's this thing. But I do feel like there's it feels kind of like Cheers. Step back into the bar and there's like, it's Norm. It's like, Norm. Baba. Yeah, that's kind of feel like. I think there could be a fun improv D&D game where what happens is we start off the night by randomly drawing or just randomly choosing three or four words, that establish like a place, an adjective. I don't know. Basically, the building blocks for what an adventure might be, or might spark an idea. And somewhere along the opening setup, I have to include all those things. And then throughout the night, chat can introduce new words, like generate new words for me that we have to incorporate in.
I can barely walk with this much gear.
Okay. No surprises, we have searched this place inside and out. This has our stockpile of non-useful. Can't tell. Oh look, there's firewood here we left behind. Okay. As much as I'd like to keep our fire going, I don't think it's realistic. So what is Urbanic? Or Panic. The Ring of MacGuffin? It turned out to be useless. Of course it did. Of course it turned out to be useless. Okay, we're low on bandages, so let's make some bandages. Your characters died every session. Such is what dreams are made of, right? Yeah, we had Wednesday night. We had a one shot. I didn't run it. It was one of our players took a turn at being the DM and ran a one shot Call of Cthulhu adventure. We got halfway through it. I don't know if we're returning to it. So I think, it was fun, but it was also. It was a little weird because I think someone came to the game having accidentally eaten an edible and then proceeded to get more and more stoned over the course of the session. And it was not someone that normally I would ever expect to have that situation arise. So it was like, what? What is going on? We were very concerned about what was happening. I think he's fine, but it was, yeah. So we kind of ended a little bit early just because we had some concerns, so. Hey, Bryce. Good to see you. It's been a while, actually. Hope you're doing well. You still playing TLD? Still playing The Long Dark?
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Ooh, there's no lights. And it's very cold. Let's see if there's more feathers at least, though. Did you leave us more feathers? Yay, more feathers. Yeah, I mean, there's actually a reason why I like only stream TLD like 3 times a week. And I actually don't play The Long Dark off stream anymore. It's very rare that I'll just start up a TLD game for fun. I'll do it if there's like something I want to test out before we do it on stream, but I haven't been playing The Long Dark for myself as much. I mean, I guess on stream I'm still playing for myself, but I just find like it's a little bit too much. Like I can't quite do like so many hours a day of like just TLD because it feels.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and I feel like sometimes I just want to watch other people play, and sometimes my recreational game right now, the game I play when I'm not playing TLD, and I just have like maybe an hour to kill or something like that. I play Balatro. And I'm like starting to beat most of Balatro now. This is just not good. It's too cold. Too cold and we can't carry a fire. Let's see, do we have anything else we want to repair? We can repair these guys. So I'm like torn here between like, do we rush back to Mystery Lake? And I think there's a chance that we have some guts and hides waiting for us back there. Did I do this again? I did this again. I went to sleep and I forgot to put stuff down. That's a pain.
I can barely walk with this much gear.
It's not so bad now, but I'm going to run through the ravine to the other side. I don't know. But if things go badly, we could be trapped in there without a bedroll, so I don't like that idea. Okay, what are we at for food? We still have lunch. I think our smart move is actually to stay here overnight. No, we shouldn't be sleeping, we should be resting.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Yeah, it just doesn't look good. Do
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
in the town where I was born. Yep, we all live in a yellow submarine. What we are? So there have been some other things I've been tempted to stream as just background. Hard to explain, but basically, I don't know if anyone's ever seen. Let's see if I can find a link to it. It's called Fantasy Mapper. Called Fantasy Mapper. On Steam. Fantasy Map Simulator, that's what it is. Okay. We all live in an abandoned prepper cache. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if anyone's ever seen this before. There's a Fantasy Map Simulator. It basically randomly generates a map and a world, and then it simulates its entire history. So you have like wars and turnover and like kingdoms rise and fall, and it like does all this stuff. This is running all these simulations, and so you don't actually do anything. You just let it roll out. And so you can leave it on in the background and it just like plays out, you know, this map playing out all the simulation of, yeah. Oh, I think there might be early. I don't know how fast the flight is. Let's see if that's my roommate or not. Maybe someone else. Okay, so I think we've got enough calories in us to do our rest. Yeah, my roommate's coming back from Ottawa, so I'm pretty certain it's like a 5-hour flight, so I don't think they'll be back until around midnight. We're fully rested and we have a whole night ahead of us. What are we going to do? Sharpen our knife. Make some teas, but how? We don't have matches. We've got one flare. We're not using our one flare in the middle of the night. No, we can't repair in the middle of the dark. Yeah, I usually do like 3 or 4, and then I'll try to sleep as long as I can, which is usually about an hour. Yeehaw! Cabin fever risk.
I could eat a horse.
It's mild. We can survive this. Okay, we have lights. See if it'll let us start a fire out here.
I can barely walk with this much gear.
No dice.
Die if I don't get some food soon. getting cold.
Cured. These guys are not cured yet.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Okay, how do we feel? Should we make a run even though we can't stay warm? Try another 2 hours and then see. Light. Let there be light. Nope. No, it's not quite as cold though. I guess we'll go. No, I think the worst part is the fact that we don't have the bedroll yet. And there's a chance it's like up a rope climb in Mystery Lake. Like at the end of the lake. Or it could be up at the ruined tower, the other place we haven't checked. Oh, it's like wolf. No, it's a deer. It's a deer with rabies. Oh, that's what it is. Matchless misery run. Yeah, that would not last very long because you
This pack is getting too heavy.
tease to survive, I think, in that one. You're just losing condition all over the place. No. Yeah, I did go bedroll-less, and I did go vegan, like in the sense that I didn't, or pacifist. I did pacifist, no bedroll, not by choice, which is. Yeah, but I do think because it's so cold, you really do need the teas. Okay, let's see. What do I want to know? Do we have enough cloth? We have plenty of cloth. Do we have enough sticks? We should have enough sticks. So we'll pick up for a few more sticks. We can build a snow shelter if we want to stay in the ravine for a little bit of time. It's not ideal. The ravine is usually nice, but I have been hit by like multi-day blizzards there before, so I'm not that keen about staying there. Because I can't build a fire unless I keep the fire going the entire time. And if I keep the fire in the cave, I can't sleep in the cave because I don't have the bedroll. I wonder if we could do 50 days. 50 days, no matches. We're almost at the halfway mark for that. Get a 4-day stay in Ravine and roll with it? Yeah, and then at a 3.5 day blizzard. Yeah. Yeah. That's rough.
I can barely walk with this much gear. up somehow.
So my Sunday night game, we also are starting a new campaign, mini campaign adventure, with someone else DMing. So this is my vacation period where other people are running games while I get to play. So I need to come up with a first level character for that one. And I'm debating whether I should play to type and just do a bard or a wizard type. Or if I come up with a wacky concept and go with that. I mean, even if I do a bard or a wizard, I'll play some wacky concept. I mean, just come off of playing a session of Call of Cthulhu, I am now kind of leaning towards a bard that is obsessed with occult and conspiracy things. $500 days with just the Maglins. That's amazing. Hey, House. Good to see you. Welcome in. Let's see. See what you're up to. You are playing by watching. Yeah, I think every person who's played TLD has lost a run at some point on that bridge. And like the one of my favorite losses wasn't mine. It was Big Fish. Big Fish, very famously in his early days of streaming, he started streaming just slightly before me, so I was watching him a lot, and oh, he's a really good player. And anyway, he's so good at the game. And then one time he's like crossing the ravine and he's crossing the bridge, the trestle bridge. And he enters the zone approaching the bridge and he takes his hands off the keyboard and decides he's going to roll a smoke. So he's rolling a cigarette and his attention's on his cigarette and he's forgotten that he left auto walk on. And so there's a moment where he lights up the cigarette, he looks back on the screen, and Astrid's just falling to her death. And someone in the chat says, kids, smoking kills. It's like... one time before I figured out how the bridge worked, I lined myself up, and then I misjudged where I was supposed to sidestep, and so I sidestepped into oblivion. It was like, like, oh, it took all this time to measure myself out, and then I managed to mess it up. Now I know that basically it's kind of like a zigzag thing that you do. And you can stare at your feet to make certain that you're in the right spot. That is an important thing to do. Double check where your feet are and then like move. Well, not like you see your feet, but you can kind of see right in front of you and make certain you're pointed in the right square. Huzzah! We made it to a new section of the ravine. Upper Bleak. Do you think we go to Upper Bleak next? Play with the Timbies. Timbies are everywhere now. Log Bridge, Timberwolf Mountain over Echo Ravine. Really? Okay, interesting. I have never fallen from any of the suspension bridges, but I always feel like I'm scared that I will. Even though I know it's just like walking a straight line, you're fine, you know. I'm always correcting, because I always worry about drift. So yeah. Yeah, so I am going to have to do some thinking about what I want to do Friday nights, now that I know that I am going to have my Friday nights free. So moving our D&D game night to Wednesday night's fine, because my Wednesday night has already been sort of a night off for me, so just makes a switch. And it is kind of nice to have Friday nights potentially open to do like social activities of some sort, but I have walked, one of my stupidest deaths was I had a run that spawned in where was it? Probably Bleak. I'm guessing it was Bleak Inlet. And anyways, I like bumped right into a pack of Timberwolves, and so I started running as fast as I could, and eventually I was able to dodge and escape. But as I was running to escape, I like ran over a hill and not realizing that was actually into the river. So I just fell into the river and died instead. So it was like, I'm watching Duster. Died on a bridge was during the blizzard. Oh, the little jog on the ravine bridge. Yeah, the trestle bridge. Yeah, that gets people all the time.
Die if I don't warm up soon.
Oh, has anyone started watching the new season of Alone, which is set in South Africa, of all places? Like, they really moved away from the cold setting and decided to do something very different. Friday nights are for fighting. Are they for kung fu fighting? Yeah. I'm with you on that, Ruby. I've been working hard the last few weeks to do more walking, so I am averaging almost 9,000 steps a day, which I wish I could say is translated into me losing a lot of weight. It hasn't. It's like I'm feeling healthier, and more stamina. But yeah, it's not been like this miracle thing. A few years ago, I used to, when I did a lot more walking too, I did lose a lot of weight. So it's kind of a little discouraging that it is not as effective this time around. But I'm not giving up on it. I'm just sticking with it. That's all for the sake of not getting out. Basically, all the things that prevent me from. My goal is basically to stay as healthy as I can. 90 steps per day. Yeah, that used to be me. Originally I was just going to not have any sort of structured approach to it and just kind of fit in walking whenever I could. But I gave in to advertising, to marketing, and I signed up. I got a subscription to one of those walking apps where it kind of gives you a every day has a different walking program, like, sort of like what you do for about, like, starts off around 7 minutes, and then after a few weeks it ramps up to 12 minutes, then 15 minutes, and then right now it's about 18 minutes of walking, is the routine that you're doing. And then on top of that, your daily goal is about 8,900 steps, for me at least, based on what I started with and where I'm going. But yeah, so I feel like I'm healthier, but I haven't really dramatically changed weight-wise. And I know my body, like 10 years ago, it was already slow in making the metabolic switch to burning fat. And I feel like now that I'm 51, it's like even worse. It's like so hard to get my metabolism working again. The body just wants to like hibernate all the time. It's like, what do you mean? I'm going to just curl up, conserve energy because the world is coming to an end. Like, no, there's stuff I want to do. If they really wanted to mess with us in the long dark, they would drop Timberwolves in here. That would be miserable. Okay, I think what we're going to do is we're going to step in to the cave. Hopefully the cave is warm enough. We'll pass an hour and try to get our heat back. Ooh, EG with the gift sub to Beard. Thank you very much for sharing the love. Sharing the love. Welcome to Baba's Share the Love stream. My roommate has still not made the final decision about whether or not they're moving out or staying put. I kind of would like them to stay, I think. Not just because I like them as a person, but also because I don't want to go through the process of having to find a new roommate. So it's just so much headache. Oh, look at us. We're warm here. Okay. Oh, we could do something productive. I just realized we can do some productive things here. Okay. Foggy, foggy. Oh no, we're out of water. That's not a good thing. We have cleared out the dam. Yeah, there's only a handful of places we haven't checked in Mystery Lake. But I think we did leave ourselves some resources for crafting, so I think now that we have a knife, and we've got some saplings and some hides, hopefully there's some guts that we left behind. That's what I'm hoping. I really should have made a note of where I left stuff. So. Yeah, we have not gone to Winding River. But we did check the exterior of the dam, so we know there's no bedroll out there. But we didn't go to the cave. Yeah, but we've checked pretty much everywhere. The only places we haven't checked are the ruined tower, or the fallen tower, whatever it's called, and we haven't checked the, did we check the bunker? I don't know if we've checked the bunker. Oh, that's PV. I'm hoping we also left some water somewhere, but it might be a long shot.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Okay.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
Okay, let's drop our stuff here. Okay, what are we at now? 26 days. Fire starting is not quite 3.
I could eat a horse. Damn it. I'm so hungry.
Okay, let's see.
I can barely walk with this much gear.
Of course the cougar's here. Okay, no, he's not in our immediate path. It's not trappers, it's at least I hope it's not trappers. I think it's over by Clear Cut. That's usually where he
Getting
shows
really
up.
thirsty.
But I don't know if there's multiple places that they can show up in each region, or if they just have one default location in each region. Okay, let's see if we had water in here. We roar. Good to see you.
I'm not gonna be able to carry this load for much longer.
Okay, let's see what we got. Yeah, we left our saplings back in the other location. That was smart.
My fingers feel numb.
Alright, guess we're going back to get our saplings, because without the saplings, it kind of defeats the purpose. Oh, I do have one sapling here. Okay, that's good. Maybe we stay and fix the sapling. Okay, we got arrows now. Just need to get a bow.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
Oh, perfect. Oh, don't have to use our torch. Or flare.
That didn't work.
Oh, come on.
Come on, little fire. Mouth so dry.
Really? Twice we failed?
Come on, little fire. Well, that didn't work.
Gotta get to fire starting 3 fast. Or we ditch all the, not just ditch all the kindling, but also have like an improved chance to start fires. That's what we want.
Come on, little fire. Come on. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. That's a good one.
We're gonna let this stuff boil. We'll work on. Figures. Look at this wind. Oh. Oh, there is a wolf out there. Where are you, buddy? He's back there. Okay. Ah! Wow.
Damn it! Bleeding all over the...
Antibiotics.
I can barely walk with this much gear.
What's sad is we have no water. We have teas.
Why didn't that work?
Oh, I did it on the wrong one. See, here's our cured maple. Okay, we're just gonna have to. This is. Stick for okay, we popped out of there. Oh boy, that was a close one.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
I wonder if he's still here or not. I'm hoping he's dead. Oh, it's because we're hauling all the sampling back. We should at least have one thing of water. We should have a 2-liter water. The other one boils away, but...
This pack is getting too heavy to...
Oh, but our problem now remains that we don't have a bedroll, so we can't stay here. We have to go back out. We don't have any guts, so we can't even make the bow yet. I think we should be first bolt kill.
Barely walking with this much gear.
Yeah, it's dead. So we don't have to worry about that. But we have to worry about the fact that we don't have any condition here.
Oh, so cold. I could eat anything right now.
Okay, that's our other place to sleep. We're not dead. We're okay. We'll bounce back. We didn't have to use our stem. That was another thing we could have done. Okay, so how bad was it for our clothing? We got off pretty lightly, actually. He was definitely a health wolf and not a clothing destroyer.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Wolf dead. You guys doing tournament? I have not paid attention to the current tournament. 26.
God, I'd eat anything right about now.
Which tournament are they doing? Is it another hunting one, or is it a different one? Oh, Pill Popping Pilgrim. Okay, the one AV's doing. Okay, I've seen that. Yeah. I don't know. It's not really, doesn't seem as exciting to me. I found like the All Your Bases tournament was my favorite of the ones we've done. Of course, it would probably be very different now that we can actually, do base building. Okay, it's morning. Feeling better. Where's the wolf at?
Man, this pack is getting kind of heavy.
It's pretty gray out. I think this is just the deer over here, but maybe it's the wolf. Ooh, there's a deer over there. If it wasn't so cold, we could go harvest the guts out of that guy and start working towards getting our bow. Okay. Let's see if the weather improves. We'll go and work on a couple things in here and then we'll go. I think that's the Traveling Gourmet. I can't remember who did that, but
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear. oh, we're back in business again. For a change, it started right away. This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
Okay, we don't need food as much as we need teas. especially birch bark. Okay, time to get some guts. No guts, no glory bow.
I got it. Eat soon.
Oh, it's hot from the top. Where is it now? Over here? Oh, there it is.
I can barely walk with this much gear. Come on, little fire. Perfect.
Actually, I should have carved some meat. We're bouncing back. We don't need another hide, so we're gonna be fine here.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Oh, ptarmigan. We could have been hunting ptarmigan too. We haven't even made a bow yet. It'd be a bad idea. No, since we have the bow somewhat ready to go, we're going to get out. Where are the crows for the wolf? Let's see them. Hunt it with our bare hands. That's an idea. Oops. It's certain we're on the other side of the fence. Okay, let's see if there are water still boiling. Yeah, that's a problem. He probably ran pretty far. And since we didn't shoot him, there's no arrow to recover. We just accept that he bleeds out. We got what we needed, is we got a couple guts to cure. Unfortunately, they're not going to cure quickly, so... No, we can stay out here and make more water, build a large stockpile of water for ourselves.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
And you have a little bit of fat there. Okay. Oh, they both went out. Oh well. That's unfortunate. Waited too long. Okay.
Barely walk with this much gear.
We should probably swing back to Trappers. Or we should swim back to the camp office because I think we left some stuff curing there. So I honestly can't remember. I'm pretty certain we must have harvested something. It's getting dark out here. Time to look for shelter. Alright. We have lots of water. We should cook just so we can get to cooking for... There it goes, cooking for.
I'm not gonna be able to carry this load for much longer.
Okay, we'll leave some of our water here. But we don't have a bedroll, so we can't stay here. Okay.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
I think we will. I think we'll do roll with it again. Just need a little bit of a break from it, but it'll probably come back soon. I think it's going to be a lot tougher now that the cougar has been introduced as a threat if you stay too long. Now it's going to be a real issue.
I can barely walk with this much gear.
I think for viewers, roll with it's probably the most fun thing that I do.
Man, I could eat anything.
As much as I like sort of the ridiculousness of trying to do it at an Interloper run without matches, that's mainly me and not most people. Okay, I think we may just stop here for tonight. Feels like a good point. We've done 28 days now. It's a little over 2 hours. Yeah, so we're here. Let's read something. What are we going to read? After. Do we want after? Do we want some other random thing? Someone else's poem. Okay, let's do that too. Hold on a sec. I think I have something for that. A friend of mine just sent me his new book. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What is up? Camera just... Hello? What happened to the camera? Camera is frozen here. Okay, we're back again. Weird. That was a weird one. So, yeah. Tobacco on the Windowsill by Hari Alluri. That's the new book that he sent me. Okay, so yeah, this is from Brick Books, a Canadian publisher. And I have not had a chance to read it yet, so we will kind of explore together. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Okay, so this is the last poem in the collection. Windowsill offering to the Ling O. Or Ling O. Okay. I ask the cards, call back a loved one whose body can no longer be found. A card out of the deck leaps on my first shuffle, and homegirl stokes a vision. Now archipelago, now this crescent cove, Isang Bangsak, a sound to begin. And hear the echoes, an ocean's away, my homegirl senses as a blur, then fully sees our guide floating in front of her, and above the shallows there's star-cloth dipping ripples to begin, rippling again to stand inside the room, tears followed by laughter, they cradle a residence for spirits. To begin, she begins. I saw what seeks you. Listen in ritual. To begin, rhythm to begin. She waves a hand at what will shift. Lid to begin, of clay, adug, incisions to begin, necklace to begin, tree bark faces, rain touch to begin, an ocean's reach of time away, the amulet and scar your mother gave, calling back to a part of you already accepting all of you. Bahala na you reach, a part of you you didn't know. You did not know, you do not need to seek. Okay. Not surprisingly, with the title like Tobacco on the Windowsill, many of the poems revolve around, I kind of skimmed through, many of the poems revolve around smoking as ritual. To Ling O. That's why I struggled over that one. Ling O? Ling is like, is that the verb? Like the, yeah. Or is that Ling O? Okay. Which I decide on in the end. No linguini. Okay, so yeah, something from me. And we could go with after. I'm always happy to read after, but I'm also happy to read something else. Letter 17. Could do a letter poem because people like the letter poems. I feel like I need to send out the other letter poems just so I can start reading from the rest of the collection. Hmm. I don't know. I feel like lately I want to read like stuff that I never read. So we're going to go back into the archives and find something. Do, do, do. Oh, okay. So the other night when I was streaming, someone asked if I had a poem about insomnia, and I was like, I'm certain I have a poem about insomnia, but I can't remember where. Um, yeah, and I don't think we found the insomnia poem, so I read a different one. I read the Wandering the Streets at Night one. But actually, in the same sort of chapbook, there was another one which is called Insomnia. So we'll read that, and then maybe we'll read something new. Okay. Insomnia. All winter in Los Angeles, the palm trees on my street lose limbs to the first fierce winds at midnight. Sleepless, I lie in bed listening, wondering where they will wash up in the morning. You are sitting in a corner of a still room with smoke rising from your fingertips, a book of words pressed to your lips. Say to yourself, I give so little thought to how young I am or how the company I keep might kill me someday. Yeah, insomnia. Okay, so weird little poem, insomnia. And maybe one last one. Let's see. Okay, this one. This is another poem called, this is older poem, and I don't think I ever sent this out for publication, or it never found a home, and I never did anything else with it. And partly I feel it's because some of these poems kind of recycle some images, but still, here you are. You get it. Identity. I was many things and no one thing. Denise Levertov. So it begins with a quote with another poet. Now, suddenly, when the world is full of unchecked boxes and my pen hovers over the page, hesitant and blurred, hummingbird gray, stirred by hollow bone, driven blood-veined and dangerous by some muscle, deep memory of flight. This winged angle of light turned back upon itself, an unfamiliar face in the silvered glass, this amnesiac skin that can be at once any race and none. Dark hair, eyes that return line for line. How their questions fly like stones thrown flat across the length of a lake catching air. How my name follows, sometimes citizen of the sky, sometimes wanderer, recluse, caught between this widening shot, this burning moment, when the pendulum swings and returns with equal weight. Anywhere is fine, I think. Any place, any name. So, anyways. Okay, so some older stuff, something a little bit unusual. Mix it up a little bit. Yeah, one of my goals for the rest of this month, in addition to finishing my application for this writer in residence position with the university library, is also to get some of my own work back out and under consideration again, which I've been dragging my feet on for ages. But I feel like I have short stories I could do that with. There are poems that need some edits and other poems that are just sitting around, haven't been sent out. I need to do this. So soon, hopefully soon, I'll have some other ones to repeat or to read. Okay, so let's figure out who we can go raid. Thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. Let's see, Chimi. Nunia. We haven't visited Nunia for a while. Let's do that. Okay, so we're going to visit Nunia. Baba's next book is Adventures on Great Bear. Hey, if they would hire me as a resident poet for Interland, I would take that gig. I really should reach out to see what he has to think. That would be funny. Anyways. Well, thanks for watching. We're going to head over there. Thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. We'll be back on Saturday night, I think. Most likely.